Hi everyone, I guess I'm live. I've never really done this before, so welcome and bear with me. I am trying to learn the ropes. I'll just give it a few seconds, a few moments, minutes. I don't know, minutes sounds kind of ambitious for people to pop in and say hi before we get into our topic this evening. Let me get my glasses on just so I can, let me see. I'm not really sure how this works. So again, bear with me. I will see your messages as they come in. So if you do have anything to ask, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I guess the live chat is what it's called. Anyways, first of all, before we get into tonight's topic, I just wanted to thank you for being here. Let you know that I will be going live every Monday night or every Monday. I don't know where you are watching from. I live in Bologna, Italy, so it's nighttime over here. I will be going live every Monday at 8 o'clock Central European time. So please check in with me and ask me any questions you may have. That's what I wanted to do with these lives. I'm really tired of being on social media, to be honest. I'm 57 years old. I'm not that great at social media. And lately I've just kind of been tired with the whole thing. But I do want to connect with people like you who are interested in teaching English to young children. So that's mainly why I've decided to go live, because I figured this might be a better way to do social as opposed to, the Instagram or Facebook, whatever is in vogue lately. Have no idea. It's not my thing. Anyways, tonight's topic is going to be about what to do when you are starting your own language school for children. I got this from a follower named Maria Belen. I can't remember. Maybe she's in Spain. Let me just take a quick look at what she wrote. She didn't. I'm assuming she's in Spain or in some Spanish-speaking country. I wish I knew where you were, Maria Belen, before answering your question. But Maria Belen asked me, how would you teach 3, 4, and 5-year-olds English, especially because she is thinking of opening up her own academy. So before I answer that, let me see if there are any messages in this chat. I really hope, please at least write that you are here. And the reason I say that is because I just want to make sure that I do see the messages coming in. And I just want to make sure about that. Anyways, I'm not really sure. If this doesn't work out, I will just probably erase it. I have no idea. Again, this is very informal chat, as you can see. I want to keep it that way. That way you also feel comfortable asking me whatever it is you want to ask. Okay, let me just introduce myself quickly. I have been a teacher, an English teacher, for over 30 years. I started out actually as a special ed teacher back when I was in my 20s. And I've been living in Italy for 36 years. My method, English is Fun, has been on the Italian market since 2001. We are the leading method for young children in Italy at the moment. Okay, Maria Belen, here we go. I'm going to try to answer your question. Again, I'm not really sure where you live, what your situation is, if you're already working in a school. I mean, in her email, Maria Belen told me that she was an English teacher. However, she had never worked with young children. Okay, if we're considering opening a school or working independently as an English teacher for young children, we have to think of various things. And one of the things is, how do we want to approach this? Do we want to have, for example, a school with many teachers? Is it just going to be a one-man band or one-woman band? Is it going to be just yourself? Are you going to be working round the clock? Are you going to be working only in the afternoon hours? You know, how are you going to get organized? Because starting up your own school or starting up your own, even if it's not a school, but just teaching individually yourself in whatever venue that may be, whether it be your house or whether you have a place that you can call a school, how are you going to get organized? Do you want to separate your children by age? That could be an idea, but it can also backfire when you're working with kids. I mean, imagine when a parent comes in and they bring you, you know, they want to enroll your child in your course or in your school, and they say, well, you know, I have two children. One is, you know, 7 years old and the other one is 5, and I'd really like to enroll both of them. And you look at your agenda and you say, let's see. Well, I have a class for your 5-year-old on Tuesdays, and I have a class for your 7-year-old on Thursdays. Well, I don't know if you guys have kids. I do. And there's nothing worse than having to run around all over town, you know, for both kids. Most parents tend to want to do, you know, drop both of them off at least at the same place at the same time. If you're going to say, no, I can take this child, but I can't take this child, or there's a space for this one, but there's no space for that one, chances are you're going to lose your client. The same if you have a 5-year-old come in and you only have a class of 4-year-olds. And you say, well, I've got a class of 4-year-olds, but I don't have a class of 5-year-olds yet. But I'll call you as soon as that class of 5-year-olds gets organized. I will call you back. You're going to lose your client. The same thing when we've got children with different ages and they want to be put into the same classroom. Or you have parents who are looking to, how could I say this? Well, I said already, yeah. When they bring you a child on one day, but you don't have the class, you might have it another time. So that's mainly what I'm getting at here, and that is trying to figure out how you are going to organize your lessons. Because if you think about a traditional course where you're going to be separating children by age, where you are going to not be able to mix ages, where you're not going to be able to have kids just come in and start, because that's another thing that I wanted to mention. I'm not very good at these lives, but that's another thing I wanted to mention, was that if you have a parent come into your school or contact you in the middle of your school year, shall we say, and say, oh, you know, I want to bring my child to your lessons. And you think, well, our lessons have already started. Yeah, we're on month 2, but we have another course starting in, you know, a week or so. You're going to lose your client again. So you're going to need a course that is going to allow you to perhaps mix ages, so you don't send your clients away. Perhaps allow the children to start at any moment. That's another thing you're going to consider, because every time you tell your parent, oh, I can't, but I'll call you, by the time you call them, they will have found someone else. So Maria Belen, that's like my biggest thing, my biggest answer, or my main answer, is decide how you want to schedule this out. How do you want to teach these kids? Do you want to have very, very large classes? That's another thing. If you have very large classes, those are very different from having small individual classes. So it's not the same when you think, okay, I'm going to teach privately. It's not the same as teaching in a regular school. It's not like going into a classroom of 20 or 25 kids and just teaching. Teaching privately is completely different. You have to consider that you're offering the children a much higher quality, much more individual attention and interaction time. Okay, so that's something that you have to consider as well. Also, when you're working in a smaller group, it's so much easier to add new children to that group. If you've got a group that's already very, very large, and you have someone that wants to come in, let's say on Wednesdays, and your Wednesday group is, 15 kids or something, you don't want to stick in another child. You don't want a 16th child. It's going to be too many, right? So if you're working with smaller groups and you've got lots of smaller groups, as opposed to just one or two very big groups, that's so much easier logistically to handle and to just add new students as they come along and want to enroll in your course. Okay, so that was that's my answer to Maria Belen, and I really wish I could see if you're on the chat, because that way, if you have any more questions, I will answer. I don't want to keep these lives terribly long. I mean, we've all got lives, we've got things to do. I don't want to bore you, but I just want you to know that I'm here to answer your questions. Live would be great if I had people, asking me questions live. That would be fine too. You don't have to send them in beforehand. We can talk about them as they pop up. No problem. I would love that. That means you're on here. And at this point, I think I will just sign off and see you guys next week, hopefully with answering some other questions. I do have a big list of questions that people have sent me. Like I said, I want to keep these short. It's already over 10 minutes, and I think maybe that's even too much. Anyways, thank you. Thank you for putting up with me. And like I said, I'm new at this. I just hope I press the right buttons and I'm actually recording this thing. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Have a great evening. Bye.